Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever walked into a room expecting an ordinary evening, only to realize that one simple decision could change your entire life? Tonight's story is about expectations, kindness, courage, and the incredible power of seeing someone's heart instead of judging what our eyes can see. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. I never believed much in blind dates. Most of my friends said they were awkward, forced, and usually ended with polite excuses and separate rides home. But after spending almost 3 years focusing on work and ignoring my personal life, I finally let my younger sister convince me to try one. She smiled as she handed me a small piece of paper with the restaurant's address. "Her name is Emma," she said. "She's kind, funny, and I think you'll really like her." I laughed. "You've already decided for me?" She shrugged. "Sometimes people need a little push toward happiness." That Friday evening I arrived 15 minutes early at a quiet Italian restaurant downtown. Soft piano music filled the room while candles flickered on every table. Couples laughed softly over dinner, and the smell of fresh bread and garlic floated through the air. I checked my watch every few minutes. Then exactly at 7, the hostess walked toward the entrance. A young woman stepped inside wearing a simple navy blue dress. Her dark hair rested gently on her shoulders. She held a white cane carefully in one hand. My heart paused for a second. She wasn't looking around the room because she couldn't. The hostess gently guided her toward my table. Before she sat down, she smiled nervously. "You must be Daniel." "I am." She carefully found her chair and sat across from me. For a few seconds neither of us spoke. Then she took a slow breath. "I'm sorry." I looked at her. She lowered her head slightly. "I'm sorry I'm not what you expected." Those quiet words carried more sadness than I could describe. It sounded like she had said them many times before. Maybe too many. "My expectations ended the moment you walked over." She looked confused. I continued softly. "I wasn't hoping to meet perfect. I was hoping to meet someone real." Then I noticed her lips begin to tremble. Tiny tears slipped down her cheeks. She covered her face with both hands. "No one's ever answered like that." I reached across the table. "It's okay." She slowly wiped her tears. "I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Don't apologize for being honest. I almost canceled tonight." "Why?" "Because almost every man who finds out I'm blind suddenly remembers an emergency." I didn't know what to say. She smiled sadly. "Sometimes they leave before I even reach the table." My chest felt heavy. How many times had people judged her before giving her a chance? The waiter arrived, breaking the silence. We ordered dinner, and slowly the conversation became easier. Emma had an incredible sense of humor. She teased me because I couldn't pronounce one of the Italian dishes correctly. She told funny stories about her guide dog, Oliver, who once stole an entire birthday cake from a kitchen counter. I laughed harder than I had in months. For the first time in a long while, I completely forgot about checking my phone. Hours passed like minutes. She talked about becoming blind at 16 because of a rare genetic disease. Friends slowly disappeared. Some classmates stopped inviting her anywhere. People either pitied her or ignored her completely. But eventually, she said with a gentle smile, "I realized I still had my dreams. I just had to find another way to reach them." She learned Braille. Finished college with honors. Started working as a music teacher for children. Every obstacle became another reason to keep moving forward. I couldn't help admiring her strength. Long workdays. Weekend overtime. A nice apartment that felt strangely quiet every night. She listened carefully. Not once did she interrupt. She somehow understood me better than people I'd known for years. When dinner ended, I offered to walk her outside. She accepted. The cool evening breeze greeted us. Streetlights reflected across the sidewalks. She smiled. I had a really nice time. She hesitated. Can I ask you something? Of course. Were you disappointed when you first saw me? The question caught me off guard. I was surprised. She nodded quietly. But not because you're blind. She waited. I was surprised because someone with your courage agreed to meet a stranger like me. She laughed through another tear. You keep saying things that make crying seem acceptable. Before leaving, I asked if she'd like to meet again. Her smile answered before her words did. I'd love that. Over the following months we became inseparable. Sometimes we'd walk through parks while she described birds by their songs instead of their colors. She taught me to slow down. To notice sounds. One afternoon she blindfolded me. Trust me. For the next hour she guided me through a quiet garden. I stumbled over tiny rocks. Reached in the wrong direction. Nearly walked into a bench. She laughed the entire time. So, she asked. I've never been so relieved to see. She smiled gently. That's how I felt when I first lost my sight. I understood something important that day. The world hadn't become smaller for Emma. It had simply become different. She experienced beauty through music. Through voices. Through kindness. Through touch. While many people with perfect eyesight rushed through life, she truly noticed it. Months later she invited me to attend one of her students' piano recitals. The children adored her. Parents thanked her for believing in kids who struggled with confidence. One little girl hugged Emma tightly and whispered, "You're my hero." Emma squeezed her hand. "No, sweetheart. You're much braver than I am." Watching that moment nearly brought me to tears. Driving home, I realized something. The strongest person I'd ever met couldn't see sunsets. Yet somehow she showed everyone else how to see hope. Nearly a year after our first date, I returned to the same Italian restaurant. I reserved the exact same table. The same piano played softly in the background. Emma smiled as she recognized the familiar scent of fresh bread. We've been here before. Dinner felt just like the first time. Comfortable. Peaceful. Full of laughter. When dessert arrived, I stood beside her chair. "What are you doing?" I took a deep breath. "The first time we met, you apologized for not being what I expected." She became very quiet. "I want to answer that properly tonight." I gently placed a small velvet box into her hands. She felt its shape with trembling fingers. "Emma. You weren't what I expected. You were infinitely more." She covered her mouth. "I expected dinner. I found my best friend. I expected conversation. I found peace. I expected one evening. I found the woman I want beside me for every day after this one." Although she couldn't see the ring, she traced its shape with her fingertips. Then she began crying harder than ever. "Will you marry me?" For several seconds she couldn't speak. Finally she whispered the smallest word. "Yes." The restaurant erupted into applause. Even the waiters smiled. The pianist quietly switched to a beautiful love song. Emma reached for my face with both hands, smiling through joyful tears. "I can't see your smile," she whispered. I leaned close. "But you'll always be the reason for it." People often ask me what first attracted me to Emma. Some assume it was her strength. They're both right. But the real answer is simpler. She taught me that love isn't about finding someone who matches your expectations. It's about finding someone who completely changes them. The world spends too much time judging appearances. Too much time deciding someone's worth before hearing their story. Yet the happiest people I've ever met are usually the ones who choose compassion before conclusions. That night when Emma whispered, "I'm sorry I'm not what you expected," she believed she had to apologize for something beyond her control. She never needed to apologize. Instead, I should have thanked her. Because meeting her opened my eyes in ways I never imagined possible. The woman who couldn't see became the person who taught me how to truly look at the world. If this story touched your heart, remember this the next time you meet someone new. Don't let first impressions write the ending before the story even begins. Sometimes the greatest blessings arrive wrapped in circumstances you never expected. All they ask is that you give them a chance. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves, keep believing in kindness, and never underestimate the life-changing power of seeing someone's heart before anything else.